before we get into it, this is Heat Check. For those who don't know, I am Johnell. This is my guy, Cash Walken, Matt Price. This is our first IG Live of the season, I believe. We might have done something last year or last season, but we had to jump back on and just connect with everybody and talk some basketball. Before we get into it, though, this past weekend, as our resident Eagles fan, how are you feeling today?
Yo, I don't want to take nothing away. Now that it's like a couple of days have passed, I don't want to take anything away because I realize that complaining about the calls and all that is taken away from what's really we should be focusing on, and it's Patrick Mahomes, his greatness, Andy Reid, his ability to turn that roster around in a rebuilding year, really, with guys like Juju and Kadarius Toney, guys that nobody else wanted. I just want to give them the credit, but it hurt. It hurt. It hurt on Sunday. It hurt on Monday real bad. Yesterday, a little bit better. Today, we all right. I can understand. It's like the future is bright. The Eagles got 2 first-round picks. They're in good shape. They got to try and get some of these free agent veterans back, specifically like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. These guys get them back on some team-friendly deals. Hopefully, they do with Hurts what the Chiefs did with Mahomes, extend him right now so that he won't top the market for 5 years from now when you really want him. So that's what we want. But things are good.
So I got my thoughts on the quarterback market, but that's another conversation for another day. Let me ask you this before we do get into some NBA. If I told you that fraud is a very strong word, but
oh my God, here we go.
That the Eagles weren't as good as what their records show, what would your response to that be?
I would say that that's not true. The one thing that you may be able to say is that the defense was exposed. I think that their defense, they're strategically, schematically, they're typically a very aggressive defense. I think that they got scared. They didn't blitz Mahomes enough. They tried to play back and not let anything deep, which was the wrong way to play him. The guy it was highly talked about that he was on one leg and that he wasn't 100%. Get after this guy. You got a pass rush that only two of the defenses are widely regarded as one of the best of all time, the 84 and 85 Bears. Only those defenses had more sacks than the Eagles this year. So get after the quarterback. They tried to do it with 4 and 5-man rushes. That's not going to get it done. Mahomes is too good. He's seen too many, pressures for that to startle him. You got to get after him, force those receivers to make plays. I hated the defensive strategy. And also, Eagles were like 3rd in the league in rushing. They ran it with Hurts. There wasn't enough. Miles Sanders disappeared in that game. I was very, very sad to see how he performed in that game. They didn't run the ball well with the backs. They ran it great with Hurts. That's my takeaway. That's where I'm putting my head at. Jalen Hurts, the future is bright. This dude shut up all the people that were down him, and that's where I believe it. Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Dude is big time. Big time. And Devontae Smith, too. Everybody thought A.J. Brown was going to come and forgot that we had Devontae Smith. That dude is a big-time, big-game player, Devontae Smith.
I agree. You see
James hating down there?
This is why I love IG Live. All right, so we're going to jump into it. Last week, for any of those who didn't watch the full video on YouTube, each week we have Cash give us his game of the week, game he's excited for. And last week, his game was
they delivered
the new look Mavs versus our Sacramento Kings.
Don't you forget it. I called this at the beginning of the season. I said the Sacramento Kings, we're breaking the playoff drought. It's been since 2005. I told everyone. I'm telling you, don't forget it. Everybody,
you're not going to let us.
I won't let you forget. It's not my Sacramento Kings. It's not your Sacramento Kings. It's our Sacramento Kings.
Yes. So the new look Mavs, they played Sacramento both Friday and Saturday, and they split. Kyrie played a great game. and led the Mavs wire pretty much on Friday night. But
Yep.
on Saturday night, I got a text from you at like 1 a.m. and you were like, "This game was incredible."
Incredible.
So, what did we learn about either one of these teams from their duel over the weekend?
We learned that the Kings, I'm telling you, they're real, and even beyond that game, they played Phoenix after that, and they gave Phoenix a run for their money too. This Kings team is real. We did learn that, but on the other side, we learned that there may be some growing pains with Kyrie and Luka down the stretch. Who's gonna?
And that's what I was mentioning.
You know the point exactly, and the point that I want to come back with I want to bring up the Heat when LeBron went to Miami and D-Wade was like, "It's your team." That's what Kyrie needs to do. He needs to say, "Yo, I'm here to help you. You know, if you want to kick it to me or do it, like somebody's ego has to get checked." And it's Luka's team. He's been there. He's the younger one. He's the superstar. Kyrie, you know, he's amazing, but he's getting there. He needs to say, "I will ride your coattails. I'm here to make the big shots if you get me the ball, but it's your show." Because it's Luka kind of, I feel like he was like starstruck a little bit. He was like, I'm dribbling. Let me go. You want to go for it? You want to go? Like, you know, it seemed a little bit they were hesitant to go after it. And then they didn't even get a shot off. So
yeah, it was bad. It was a bad possession for sure.
Yeah, because they're, you know, kind of playing back and forth with it. But I think those are my takeaways. They're gonna have to figure that out. You know, how Jason Kidd, Luka, Kyrie, they all got to sit down in the room and find out how we're gonna close out games. But the Kings, man, they are real. De'Aaron Fox has put together quietly such a good season.
Yeah.
A really, really good season. Domantas Sabonis, one of the like sneaky great pickups. Like in that trade, everybody sees that the Pacers got Halliburton. He's an all-star. He's playing great, and they don't remember what the Kings got back for that. So Sabonis he made them a playoff team. You know what I mean? So it's a great pickup. I like the free agent guys they brought in too, with Herter and Monk. Monk and Fox being reunited has been a resurgence to Malik Monk's career. It's been great, man. Everybody's been great. Harrison Barnes looked revived. Everybody's looking good.
That team, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that one of your league pass teams, the Kings?
That is look. Besides the Knicks, my two favorite teams to watch are the Orlando Magic because of their ridiculous length. There's like 7-footers on there, and then the Sacramento Kings because the building is electric. A Kings game at home, crazy. Like I go to games at the Garden, so everything is second to that. But that arena out there, they get lit, man. Light the beam.
Yeah, light the beam is right. So let's jump into it. So you had made a note about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is the remaining piece in Brooklyn that was supposed to be some sort of a super team. Clearly, that's not going to be the case anymore. So we know he's on the hook. He has a contract for he has this year and then 2 more years. He's going to be making $35 million, $37 million, and $40 million over the next 2 years. Is this kind of Ben Simmons' last chance at the NBA? Does he have a life after Brooklyn? Does Brooklyn re-sign him? Where does Ben Simmons go from here?
He's in a tough spot. I saw a video on Twitter where it was like his first like 3 or 4 seasons, and the difference between him as a player then and now in terms of like just his aggression and his approach towards offense, it's just different. Now he comes over half court and it looks like he's afraid to even go inside the arc. It looks like every time against the Knicks the other day, he missed a layup. Like he short-armed a floater.
Yeah.
It was like 3 feet away from the basket. Like he's got some form, whatever the form of the basketball yips, he's got it right now. Because he was a downhill player. He was a transition player, a guy who was out on the break. He could find guys on the break, or he could take it to the rim himself, and he was explosive around the basket.
Yep.
So I don't know if the back issue is weighing him down or slowing him down or whatever. He says he's healthy. He says everything's all right. Or I don't know if to me, it looks like he is just mentally not ready right now. I think that if he can't turn this around, then this is it for him. I honestly don't even think he gets to the last year of this deal. I think they buy him out like halfway through the season if they could.
So I disagree with you. I think there's a spot in the league for Ben Simmons for as long as Ben Simmons wants to play. I think part of the issue is we're now comparing Ben Simmons of today to Ben Simmons of a few years ago. And there was a point in time when Ben Simmons was a 16, 9, and 8 guy. But now he's a 8, 7, and 7 guy.
Oh.
And like that might just be who he is. The reason why I say that there will be a spot for him is there was a player last year who averaged 8, 7, and 7 and helped lead a team to a championship.
True.
Draymond Green.
True.
So Draymond Green, I think his highs over the course of his career have been higher than Ben Simmons, but they kind of play the same role. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing is the contract. Ben Simmons is going to have to realize that he's not a $40 million a year player.
That's
and
the issue.
If he's willing to take less money, he will absolutely have a team that he can play on. Maybe he's not starting, he's in the second unit or whatever. But I think as long as he's willing to take less money for a reduced role, I think he can play anywhere.
He'll probably be eligible for some kind of a veteran's minimum. But right now, he's currently, if not the worst contract in all of sports, he's in the top 5 of worst contracts in all of sports. As far as production, how much they're paying him. Draymond has a different situation. Like, their roles are completely different. Draymond,
I agree with
that. He doesn't have that same reluctance to shoot. Ben Simmons does not want to shoot. He gets into the paint just so that he can get it and kick it back out. I'm telling you, I just watched the Nets play the Knicks, and every time he was getting up there was one time he was like at the rim and kicked it out to the corner. These things, that's like just instinctively the old Ben Simmons, and I have to compare that because that's the only thing that I can go back to.
Sure.
He would have just jammed that thing out of it, especially against the Knicks. He was a Knicks like killer. Those were some of his best games against the Knicks. So I'm telling you, that's what you're right that he has to come off that contract. But where does he go where that role is going to be all that somebody wants to pay him for? He's not the same level defender anymore.
That's also true
from the looks of things, and because that was a big part. He was all defense every year, so that's a big part of it too. I just think that the contract mixed with just whatever mentally is going on with him that's made him. He's 4 on 5 on offense. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. I think he's done after the Nets because this is another great opportunity. They got none but shooters and role players on this team. So him being the $38 million superstar, he should be driving the lane, kicking out to Seth Curry. Dinwiddie could shoot it. Cam Johnson could shoot it. All these guys can shoot it on the corners. He should have the ball dominating, and his coach is sounding like he's giving up on him because he can't worry about it.
Yeah, it's tough. And, I mean, neither one of us are psychologists or anything like that, so we don't know what's going on between the ears. But just a stark contrast to the Ben Simmons that we saw early on in Philly.
Huge.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I mean, he's under contract for the next couple of years. But with that team as currently constructed, as you alluded to, I don't even know if there's a benefit to having Ben Simmons on that team.
Yeah, because he can't be your lead guy anymore. He can't be somebody you build around anymore. So where do you go from here? It was like he was supposed to be like the icing on the cake to a KD and Kyrie. Now that that's gone, you got to move him. But, I mean, you think somebody wants to sign up for this. I don't.
I think because for what it's like, Ben Simmons hasn't been terrible this year. Like he's been very
worth
consistent.
$35 million.
I agree. And I mean, that's kind of my argument with some of these big contracts in general. But Ben Simmons, for what he is now, he's done it and done it well.
Yeah.
The issue, again, is that you want Ben Simmons of 4 years ago, and he's not that guy. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment on both ends between the
How is he not
contract
that
and
guy
his play.
anymore?
I don't
I don't understand. He's like
that I don't
26.
know.
How are you not that guy anymore? What happened to you? Yo, so, they say he went to therapy and all that. So, I mean, they got to keep working through this. Like, I don't know what happened to him. I watched that video. It was a 2-minute and 20-second video of Ben Simmons eating the league. Like, I was like, what happened?
Yeah. So we'll move up Ben Simmons. We'll see how it goes. You know, hopefully he gets it together. He has a long career. We wish nothing but the best for everybody on Heat Check.
I'll leave Ben alone.
But this weekend we have All-Star festivities, skill challenges, 3-point contest, dunk contest, and the game. Been a lot of movement as of late in terms of All-Star players. Injuries to Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, these guys. But do you have a single All-Star snub that you would say is the biggest snub of the 2023 All-Star game?
Jalen Brunson.
Oh my gosh.
Jalen Brunson, and you know it. Don't look at, see, this is what we do. Don't be this, what you're doing right now. You're going to try and poo-poo it and just push off it. Like this man, the last 30 games, Jalen Brunson is averaging 30 points on over 45% shooting. Listen, the dude he's got them in a great position. The Knicks are tied 6th with Miami in the East. They're turning up. This dude he's better than some of the people that are on the All-Star team. I just can't. Jalen Brunson is the biggest snub on either conference in this All-Star game. He should be in this. He should be in it. And you see I'm repping Julius. I've been hard on him this year. But we repping All-Stars. The Knicks should have 2 of them. They haven't had an All-Star point guard since Mark Jackson in 1989. He deserves it. And they're holding him out because of the Knicks bias. I don't like it.
So I don't disagree with you. A couple of weeks ago I said that I thought Jalen Brunson should be in the All-Star game. I'm going to say De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
But he got in the back door because of an injury. I'll take it. He's in the game.
There's still hope for Jalen Brunson too. There is
Jalen Brown. You got a couple days.
Jalen Brown is on the fence. He doesn't know if he's going to do it yet. He said he might play with a mask.
I mean, we'll see. So my choices initially were De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, and Pascal Siakam. They all got in the back door. They're all going to be there. So I'm happy about that. It's kind of a cop-out answer, but I honestly believe everybody that should be in the All-Star game is in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I would say, if I had to give you an answer, I would say James Harden.
James Harden right here. He's leading the league in assists.
Leading the league in assists, 21, 6, and 11
That's
right
not
now.
bad. It's not like typical James Harden, though. That's the thing.
It's not typical James Harden, but he's also playing with Joel Embiid. So he's not going to get as many touches or number of shots. And I think that kind of hurt him in the whole All-Star ballot, because I know you're rooting for or advocating for 2 Knicks. Same thing in Sacramento. Initially, they did not have 2 guys.
Yeah.
I think it's tough to have 2 great players both be on the All-Star roster. But I would say if I had to pick somebody, James Harden would be that guy because he's been playing great on a very good, very, very good Sixers team.
He's setting up one of our MVP favorites in Joel Embiid. He sets him up for Joel Embiid is leading the league in scoring. Harden is leading the league in assists. The 2 things are related. It's an argument. An argument can be made for James Harden and that kind of goes to your point about when we were talking about Ben Simmons, how we kind of hold these guys to the standards of who they were.
Yes.
James Harden's having a great season right now. It's not our typical James Harden season where he's not averaging 29.9 and 6 anymore. He's being asked to do something different, and you know what I mean? He's doing it well.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not a huge James Harden fan. I just don't think his style of play translates to championships.
I agree.
But I mean, to this point in the season, I think the Sixers are the 4 seed in the East right now. Like, they're playing great basketball, and he is a big part of the reason. So I can't knock him for what he's doing and what that team is doing this year.
I agree. I like it.
We are going to get back into the All-Star weekend a little bit later, but trade deadline just passed, and it was one of the wildest ones that we've seen in a very long time.
Yes.
We saw Kyrie move. We saw Russ move, Russell Westbrook. Just a lot of movement, a lot of teams, trying to get into position to make a run after the All-Star weekend. Is there a trade? Which team do you think won the trade deadline first and foremost? And secondly, what move do you think will ultimately be the most impactful for their team?
Okay. So, which team won? Obviously, biggest winner is Phoenix. They get Kevin Durant.
It's got to be.
They risk a lot of their depth in their youth to get that.
Yes.
I want that one. So now they're at a point where you have to get it now. You can't not get it. There's no running it back again. I mean, you could run it back again with Chris Paul next year at 39, but you got to go get it right now. So there's a lot of pressure on them.
Yep.
But obviously they get the spot for the biggest winners. But most impactful, this is a sneaky one, a very, very sneaky one. It's Golden State. They went back and said, hey, bro, Gary, I'm sorry we ain't pay you, but we need you back, dog. Yeah. They needed that. They needed their dogs back on defense. This team has been awful defensively this year, Golden State. Draymond called them out last night after the Clipper game, and said that basically, these guys don't have it. They don't have the heart right now. So, and that was their last game for the All-Star break. So I thought that was very strategic. Like, let me send these dudes to Cancun with a message. Like, y'all better come back and have some dog in you. But I think that picking up Gary Payton II and getting him back in that locker room again was good for the continuity of that team. It could bring back some of the good vibes. Remember back in the beginning of the season, we all remember what happened when Draymond and Poole got into that stuff. And I said, when the controversy gets there, how will this team react? Now they're a 500 team heading into the All-Star break, and can Draymond call them out the way that he wants to? Can Draymond get in these guys' faces now the way that he wants to, the way that he feels like he should be to get the championship efforts out of his team? Or is everybody going to be like, oh, Draymond was up in this guy's face. He was about to punch this guy again. This is what I'm saying. This is what I was warning people about. Because that in their locker room, they have their vibe. But when you see, is the vibe different? Because Draymond feels like he can't approach these guys, his teammates, the same way now that happened. It's impacting the team on the floor.
I do like that move a lot. I know the Warriors' hearts were fluttering when he failed that physical initially, but they were able to push it through.
They got it through. I don't know what illegal activity they did to do that.
I mean, not even illegal activity. It's just ultimately that was going to determine the deal. I think the fact that they have a relationship with him, they can kind of be like, overlook it, but and be able to work through it. If it was somebody new, they might just say, you know what, we're not going to take the risk. And, So I'm totally with you. The team that won is definitely Phoenix. And I totally agree with you in terms of their window. I mean, I think we talked about their window shrinking. With KD there, it definitely opens it up. It props that window open a little bit longer. But they traded their depth. They traded, like, their window has expanded a little bit, but maybe by another year or two. Like, they really got to, because they're going to get into a position where they have Chris Paul's not getting any younger. Quite frankly,
KD's
not getting any younger. Yeah.
And the injuries are piling on, man. Like, every year he's dealing with something different that he misses significant time with. So, yes, we know KD can hoop. He's one of the best mid-range guys we've ever seen. He's one of the best basketball players we've ever seen. But the health is an issue. And when we get into playoff time, that's gonna be something. Chris Paul hasn't finished a playoff in a while.
Yes,
like in a long time. Like unscathed, Chris Paul through the playoffs. What has happened? Like
he's always
no little hamstring strain, no ankle, no shoulder, no back spasms. When has he done it? So, and I'm 36. At 38, I wouldn't imagine that your recovery time gets faster. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're eating keto. I don't care if you're doing the Peloton for 5 hours a day. I don't care. It hurts.
Yeah.
So they got to figure that out.
Yes. No, I'm absolutely and totally with you. It's pair Devin Booker up with, a top 5 player in the league right now, one of the greatest players of all time. Like, they're going to be a tough out for anybody in the West. But again, we're banking on KD being able to stay healthy. We're banking on, Devin Booker's been banged up this year as well.
Yeah, he just got back a couple weeks ago. He was looking bouncy last night, though. He was looking bouncy last night. I was like, oh, he can get up like that? I didn't know he was getting up like that. He had a couple dunks. I was like, dang, okay, but
yeah, you do that.
KD show up, everybody start playing hard.
So beyond that, I obviously love what the Bucks did getting Jay Crowder. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
That's huge.
But I also really love what the Lakers did. Rui Hachimura, they picked him up a little bit before the deadline, but picking him up, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley,
having a great season.
Mo Bamba, like, I really love what they did. My only concern is they are floundering as a team right now, and it might be too little too late at this point.
It's like where the trade deadline fell, it was too late in the season for them to do that. Like, they should have made these deals way back when, but it's unclear if all those guys were even available at the time. So you had to wait until teams were selling. I get it. They even still at where they are at in the standings, they're 13th in the standings, but they're still not far out of this thing. They're still what? They're 13th, but they're only 4 games out of being 6th.
Yeah.
You come out of the break, you win 5 straight, you're back in it. You know what I mean? Like with LeBron and AD, guys rested healthy, a couple good practices when they get back out of the break, get guys feeling good. I think they can turn it. I still think that they get in via play-in, and that's how they really move it. They can get up to like 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah.
But the margin for error is very, very small. You got to keep LeBron healthy and on the floor, and you got to keep AD healthy and on the floor. But I love the additions. I do love the additions.
Look who it is.
Do you love
the Stone Cold. Stone Cold.
Right? The glass just broke.
Yo, listen up. Before, listen, Linda. Ben Simmons stinks.
Done. Thank you.
Not like Johnell. I don't know what you were trying to do.
No hope.
Bro, Ben Simmons is playing. He's playing well for who Ben Simmons is.
That's not who he is, though. That's
that is who he is.
That's
no, it's not.
One thing that I noticed you and Cass were discussing in regards to potentially his future in this league, right? You guys referenced Draymond Green, how he's an 8-7-7 guy, and the numbers are the same, but the impact is completely different. The difference is Draymond came into the NBA 8-7-7 guy. He didn't come into the NBA, some guy, and then became this guy. Ben Simmons came into the
Facts.
He was a franchise player. They were calling him the next LeBron James.
LeBron.
He was averaging 18, 9, and 8 comfortably.
All-Stars every year. All-NBA every year.
All-NBA every year. And then it's when you regress and become this player, it's completely different. It's completely different.
I totally agree.
So
I got hope for him only because of Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz kind of turned his life around.
Really good, yeah. So, again, I'm not disagreeing with you in terms of just the Draymond comparison, right? I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you in terms of the regression when it comes to Ben Simmons. But what I'm saying is if he's no longer – so if he's no longer that 16, 7, and 8 guy, if he is a 10, 6, and 7 guy, and that's what he's going to give you every single night, there is a place in the league for it.
Sure.
Not going to be the same Ben Simmons that we saw 3, 4, 5 years ago. We can't expect that of him.
I need to understand, does he know that, though? Like, is he still trying to be 18, 7, and whatever, Ben, and this is what we're getting? Or is he...
Of course he is, because he knows he's playing for his NBA life right now.
Yeah,
this is like, it's kind of like how we watch Russell Westbrook's thing unfold. Ben Simmons is going to be that Russell Westbrook thing, if not shorter, because at least what we know with Russ is he's going to show up and play hard every night.
Every night.
But Ben's here taking, therapeutic days, and he's doing this and he's doing that. It's like it moves different in the business of basketball, because it's like I can't even rely on you for 70 games. Forget 82 games. I can't rely on you for 70 games. Also, is Ben Simmons going to accept making $3-4 million a year on a veteran's minimum?
I mean,
if I'm making 35, I ain't taking that much.
Chance. This guy fought Philly for every penny for games he didn't play in.
He didn't even play a game.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with that point at all. I'm saying there's a lot that has to happen, but if he, I know we've had this conversation a lot of arguments, quite frankly. As you get the big deal, the expectations of you as a player change. So Ben Simmons as a $35 to $40 million a year player, the expectations are 5, 8, and 8 as a superstar in the league. He's not executing on that. So totally to your point, if he's not willing to take 3, 4, 5 million a year, there will not be a place for him in the league, because nobody's going to pay $40 million a year for what he's giving right now.
Yeah.
His saving grace right now is that he already had the contract in place.
Yeah. That's it, or else he'd already be out of league.
Price made a very good point earlier where he mentioned that he might not even make it to the last year of the deal, because like with Russ was making $47 million, you're like, well, you can flip Russ at a deadline, get some assets. Who is trading for Ben Simmons?
I'm not getting.
Who's trading for him right now?
Single thing. I won't give you a 2057 second round pick. I don't care.
Bro, he has the worst contract maybe in the history right now of basketball.
That's what Cash
unquestionably worst contract in sports right now. I questioned it before, but now that you're making even more points, worst contract.
Bro, like they're talking
without a doubt
about like with Russ, right? If he gets bought out, a team like the Clippers or the Heat who are looking for some edge, some experience, right? What would the team that say, okay, we're gonna dump Simmons for maybe a couple second round picks?
Right. What's that intangible?
What is the intangible?
What's that thing?
It seems like now we need that.
What's that thing I'm gonna get from him? Like how Draymond has.
And on top of that, you can't play him in certain moments because we've seen he doesn't want the basketball in his hands.
Nope.
Especially near the basket when it's
what? Under 5 in the shot clock? Give it to Ben Simmons. Let me see what you do.
Bruh.
Give it to
he
Ben
might
Simmons.
he might legitimately throw it out of bounds.
Yo, come on. God, come on.
Yo, he does not want to shoot the basketball.
What?
It's like he's field goal percentage shaving all the time. I'm like, bro. And I mean, Ben Simmons had the perfect opportunity to be that Draymond role with these Brooklyn Nets that, had Kyrie, KD, and even Harden last year, and he didn't even want to come back for them last year.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think he wants to play. Me and Gene talk about this all the time.
I don't know if he loved the game anymore.
He wants to be a basketball player. I think he wanted to be
rich.
The
status.
It was rich. He wanted to be rich. It was easy. Right, he's 6'10", super athletic. He can run faster than you. He'll jump higher than you. And it was like, well,
imagine that, right?
But I don't think he has a drive to want to be a really good professional basketball player. And we've bro, there are guys who came into this league, who couldn't shoot the basketball, who couldn't make free throws for a lick. These guys are now shooting 3-pointers at a 40% clip. Yeah. Ben Simmons still cannot make a 15-foot jump shot. That is insanity.
I will never make a shot for him. When you look at Brook Lopez, look at Brook Lopez. He was a basket post player for the Nets. Now this dude is a sharpshooting big, stretch big, extended his career probably 4 or 5 more years because he changed the game.
I get on this guy a lot, Julius Randle. Look at what Julius Randle was his rookie year with the Lakers compared to now. This guy's an two-time All-Star now.
He's an All-Star, two-time All-Star.
Because he's expanded his game. Right. Like, he's averaging, 20 plus and 10.
24,
like he's a walking 20 and 10.
Yeah.
Why can't Ben be half of that even? Like, he doesn't care for it, bro. And teams know that. And Rich Paul, I think Rich Paul is going to split ends at some point because this is a bad asset. You can't shop this asset.
It is.
You can't shop this asset.
On your agency, because it's gonna look bad when he can't get him anymore. Right. Except for the big three, he had to call up Ice Cube.
Right. And LeBron don't want him because we know if LeBron would have been Simmons, he'd be in LA already.
Facts.
If you could have made use of him, you would have been in LA by now.
He's like, can we get anything out of this kid? Nah, man.
So Sean, I know you gotta we don't got you for too long. But this upcoming weekend, we got the All-Star festivities, we got the dunk contest, skills challenge, 3-point contest, and obviously the game. You enjoy the NBA All-Star weekend. I know last year you were in Cleveland for it, so you got to experience it firsthand. But as a fan, as a spectator, do you enjoy what the weekend is?
No, not really. It's watered down now, man. Like, I want to see the big stars there. I would enjoy it at that point, right? But now we're talking about we got G League guys coming in, and again, it's good because he's a great dunker, and I think he's going to do great. But the All-Star is not just about the on-court product; it's also about who's a part of it, right? Like, it's in Utah. I would have loved to see Donovan Mitchell do either the 3-point contest or the dunk contest. That's a story you build up on. Imagine him; he'll probably win it. He'll help win it. Like, give him favorable scores, especially.
I can't believe he's not.
Right. So again, like, I think again, Johnell, I was just talking to you before the show. I didn't realize All-Star was this weekend. I had no idea.
There's two guys from one team in the 3-point contest.
Who died?
Donovan Mitchell didn't do it. Halliburton and Buddy Hield.
Yep.
Oh, Halliburton's doing it. I didn't know he was.
Halliburton's doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
With marketing being there and everything like that too, I thought Donovan Mitchell definitely would have did it.
Yeah, that would have been a cool story. But again, I'm not like, this is not must-watch TV for me. If I'm home, I'll put it on. But like, this is not something where I'm carving plans out of my night to say I need to be home for All-Star weekend. And that used to be the case.
Yeah,
that used to be the case for the dunk contest. Desmond Mason. When you had, Jason Richardson.
Jason.
Yeah.
Those were much like the
2003
Zach LaVine years, and those
2003. That was a good one.
Gerald Green from the Celtics or from Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, those were must-watch. Those were must-watch TV. But now it's like, if you catch it, you catch it. It's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on Instagram. You don't know what's going on anyway.
Yeah, since Eric Gordon and LaVine, bro, it's really lost.
That was incredible.
But Obi Toppin and them did put on a show a couple years ago. That was cool.
Yeah.
But LaVine and Eric Gordon, that was the year where it was really, really special. You would think the 3-point contest would be more exciting with the way that guys can shoot it now, but there's been some great shooters go in there and really not even come close to winning, like be out in the first round.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe. It's not game shooting, it's really just a simulation, and you have like once you miss the first two, you're like, all right, Steph
this is a bizarre field. This is
a
bizarre field. Let me read the field off to you. Jason Tatum, Kevin Huerter, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Dame, Anthony Simons, and Lauri Markkanen. That's the whole field. That's a strange field. I mean, Lauri Markkanen shoots a good end game, but I don't know. What was it? Like, they got two teams that got two guys from the same team. You got two Trailblazers and two Pacers.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those guys won it, honestly. I don't think there's a fair favorite. The only guy that I'm thinking like that might be most built for something like this, maybe Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero is probably the only true shooter, by definition. Maybe him and Buddy Hield. But all those other guys are like,
Buddy's won already, so.
He's won already, right? Yeah.
Buddy's won one, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really too giddy about All-Star Weekend anymore. It is what it is at this point, especially now with social media. It's going to be on Twitter. By the time those guys dunk, the clip's going to be posted and everyone's going to be talking about it. So
it might be up before you dunk.
Yeah, maybe that takes away from the old intrigue of All-Star Weekend. But
the news travels fast.
Very fast. Very
interested in seeing Mac McClung?
I think I am, just because it's different. Like, we've never had a G League guy, and I know he could dunk. Again, he used to play. He played for the South Bay Lakers, and he played a couple games with the the big team last year. He definitely could dunk. I'm intrigued to see how that works, because if it works out well, then they're going to have more G League guys in the future, do it. But again,
I just disagree
because
I think that about Mac McClung. I think that they're putting him in because he's Mac McClung. He's coming into this.
What do you mean he's Mac McClung? What does that mean?
Because
Mac McClung?
He had a huge following coming in
from
high school.
It's not high school anymore, bro. Nobody knows him in the NBA, bro.
But it's the internet, and it's the internet era. That's my point. Like, he has a huge following, whether or not he's playing on an NBA team or not. Like, everybody knows that's his goal. My point is that people know who he is, even if he's not in the league. They can take a G League guy like Mac McClung, and people know who he is. I don't think they're going to take a G League guy, Joe Schmo, next year and throw him.
Why not? If he could jump out the gym and he could dunk, what's the difference? It's the product.
No, who's going to watch it?
People are going to watch
it. People are watching for Mac McClung.
I think there's a contingency of people that know from his highlight reel in high school and college that this kid is he's gonna put on a show. Like, he's put on a show before on the internet, so people know. Like,
that, but again, that was like a few years ago, before like he was sitting on somebody's bench. But now, if Mikey Williams is sitting on somebody's bench in 2 years, that intrigue it disappears. If LaMelo came into the league a bum, nobody would care that he's from Chino Hills and had the little fro. Like, part of it is what you're doing at the next level. Like Mac McClung, he went to Georgetown. He was okay, but he was undrafted. Like, he wasn't like. We didn't hear Mac McClung over this last couple of years, like, oh, Mac McClung. And this guy was right here on a college campus balling, doing his thing, right? And even now he's in the G League, and you still don't really hear about Mac McClung.
Yeah.
There's other guys who you hear about Wembanyama. You hear
but
about
his
Stewart.
name is out there. That's what I'm saying. And we still know who he is.
We do, but I don't think the casual does. I don't think the casual cares.
I feel like the casual fan is the person on YouTube now. Like, that's how they know basketball. Like, they watch NBA old stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of the casuals, that's what they like. They like the highlight reel stuff, the crazy dunks. A basketball fan is just watching basketball stuff on YouTube now. It's just a different time. These younger kids, they probably know who he is, like, whether he's in the league or not. I imagine so.
Maybe. You might be right.
Sean, real quick before you got to get out of here. If you had to put together dunk contest right now, current NBA players, who are your 4 in the dunk contest?
Everyone healthy?
Everybody healthy.
Zion, Zach LaVine. Wow, this is when you start trickling it down. I want to say Aaron Gordon. I just don't want to keep these two together, because I'm like, I think they're tired of each other too. Is Aaron Gordon still getting up like that?
He's still getting up there.
Okay.
He's
a little bit, yeah.
Complete player now than just a dunker, though. He's doing everything now.
So Zion, Zach LaVine, Ja.
Yep.
I was gonna say that was gonna be mine, yeah.
And Aaron Gordon. I'll say Aaron Gordon for the sake of what we've seen. We've seen his body. Like, we know he's different when it comes to those dunk contests. I think Zion.
When he went under the 2 legs,
Zion has to do this, because I think when Zion does it, there's no chance. If he just completes the dunks, even if it's a 2-handed dunk, he's going to win it. Zion. There's no risk.
He's never gonna do it. This dude.
Why?
Imagine
he's not, because he's hurt.
He's never gonna be healthy
the other day.
Imagine he goes up and pulls his hamstring trying to do a windmill or something.
Man, he pulls his hamstring doing everything else. He might as well get hurt dunking. Might as well get hurt dunking. Like, I respect it more than what I'm hearing. He re-aggravated.
People respect it.
What are you talking about? You re-aggravated. How you rehab and you getting hurt rehabbing? That's like going to rehab for crack and you got high. You got high while you like. You gotta put Zion. My man getting high in the rehab center, like before the little meetings. Come on, B.
Get the car in the parking lot.
I'm so frustrated with Zion.
This is gonna be the
bro.
last time.
Yo, I keep defending Zion. I'm so frustrated with him. Like he needs to play, man. This team is ready to make a push. They're ready to be that, that Grizzlies team last year, but they cannot go without Zion. They can't do it.
Look where they are now. Look where they are now and where they were when he was still playing. So now they're 7th. They're just 2 games above 500. When he was playing, they were the 2nd seed in the West.
Are you freaking Jesus?
When he got hurt. So that's how fast things really fell apart. It's like when you're winning games, and then now it's like, whoa, win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. And then other teams made up some grounds, like Sacramento pulled up on them. Phoenix got Booker back. They pulled up on them. Clippers been playing better. Dallas has, teetered the line, and those are the teams that are in front of them. So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough for them to get back into the, the main top 6 for the playoffs without him. They need him. He's their difference maker. The
seedings are going to be so wacky this playoffs because so many injuries, like even with the Warriors.
Who wants that problem, right?
And that's the thing. That's when you're really going to see who's like that. Like, because when you're going to have to play some teams that you shouldn't be playing in round 1 or 2. Right. And you're going to have, like, if you're really ready for this moment, you're going to have to take it because these teams, we know the Warriors. If they get a step back, we know what they can do. Yeah. We don't know if they're going to do it, but we know what they can do. They just did it literally a few months ago, right? Phoenix kind of fell out with Chris Paul and then Booker hurt. And then they land the freaking scariest guy on the planet, like offensive weapon. And it's like, now imagine the team that got to play them because they just fell out. Yeah. He's still hurt, by the way.
Denver's got a sizable lead.
Right.
Denver's got a sizable lead, so they got some room. But
I'm not buying
Phoenix
Denver, bro. I don't care if Denver wins 80 games this year. I'm just not concerned about Denver.
What I need the Warriors to get to 7, and I need them to go to Memphis and take care of it. Get it done for all of us. Steph, John, you good in the West? Show me. Show me you good in the West.
John's not good in the West. He's not the new West. Not the new West.
Yeah. He said, I'm good in the West. We good in the West. Okay.
I know you guys
disrespected Giannis too. He only brought up the Celtics. He disrespected Giannis too. Like the Bucks would have mashed. The Bucks would
kill Memphis.
Kill Memphis. That's a 5-game series.
Yeah.
I don't even know who they think they are. Who do they think they are? Make me mad.
You guys asked this earlier about the trade deadline deals. I think the team that probably maximized the most outside of like the obvious Phoenix, right? And like and Kyrie. I think the Lakers did fantastic. Yeah. But what's now driving me insane is that now as soon as the trade happens, LeBron can't play basketball anymore because some foot.
Ankle or foot, right?
Now I'm annoyed. Like, bro, we made all these trades. Like, I really feel like LeBron with this new team is going to be a scary, recipe for a lot of teams if they can, mesh well in the last 20 games or so. But now you're missing key games. Like, we can't afford to lose any games in these standings right now. They wanted to go 20-9 to end the season to end, especially out of the play-in. Bro, we're losing games to teams in the race, to Portland. We're losing games like we got the Warriors.
Oklahoma City.
Like Oklahoma City. Like these games are critical. And I don't know what's up with the foot, but the foot was fine just the night before for the record. But all of a sudden the foot, like, bro, I can't. Sometimes, bro, this stuff drives me insane because I'm like, we need to get it going, bro, or we're gonna be out of the playoffs again. Yeah. Literally looking out. And you were just swearing last year we're not missing the playoffs again, B. So
they can
shoot your foot up with the stuff they shot Patrick Mahomes' ankle up the other day.
Yeah, right?
Get some of that in your
foot
and let's go to work, man.
He was
at games to play.
The Super Bowl, too, so he got, you know what I mean?
Getting real lit like you talking about your foot. Matter of fact, if you're hurt, stay home. I don't want to see you anywhere. If you're hurt, stay in your house, bro. Stay in your house. Do not leave the house. Watch on
Don't
TV.
Go.
Don't have
He
fun, bro. Because you want company's money.
He had to go.
You want company's money. Like, come on. And we had a game the next. Like, come on, bro. You hurt, stay home and rehab. Get around the clock treatment like Russell Wilson does. Get the 24 hours Russell Wilson.
I agree. All day. You should be getting not sitting there watching Eagles Chiefs.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, what?
Yeah. And you drinking too on the company time with your ankle hurt.
Oh my God.
Bro, stay home, B. Stay home.
He a grown man now. He a grown man. I can't tell him what to live his life.
Yo, Brunson should be an all-star too, by the way, bro. And
Thank you.
I know I like Brunson from Dallas. I was like, the Knicks have to sign him. I was definitely critical of the contract because it's part of our nature to kind of hit on the Knicks. But that Brunson, my apologies, I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yo,
he is
looking like he a little jitterbug, right?
He
He
is.
got that little in and out.
He is.
His hezzy is crazy.
He's one of
crazy.
He's one of the shiftiest players in the league, right? Like, to stay in front of him is impossible.
Yo,
because he can shoot the ball, so he's a threat. That's why the Hezzy's a threat, because he could actually shoot the ball really well. And then by the time you jump on the Hezzy, he's 3 feet past you and he's hitting the floater.
Yeah.
He's hitting the floater. He's a great passer. The Knicks, I think this is like the best free agent signing since Carmelo re-signed with y'all. Like, I can't think of anyone that's been better. I mean, Julius Randle's been
Allen Houston, he got.
Yeah, but that's before
Melo.
Before since Melo.
Since Melo. Since Melo, they haven't signed anybody.
Yeah.
They haven't signed anybody. They signed back Tim Hardaway Jr. That's all they got.
Everybody
else. Other than that, actually, Marcus Morris, who was traded to the Clippers, and we got a first-round pick that turned into Emmanuel quickly. That was good.
Marcus Morris, the one who was trying to fight everybody. Okay, the one who punched the slammed the basketball.
Nah, bro.
Yeah,
I would have to fight. Yeah, no.
But Jalen Brunson, man, it's looking like a bargain that contract now. And he's already played up to it. I'm hoping, let's see how he leads us in the playoffs, man. Him and Julius, they're starting to gain some continuity now. Things are looking a little better. I want to see what they do in April. Get me to the playoffs and get me through a push.
That's what I was going to say I like about him. It's not even that how good he is. He's actually a leader. Like, he rallies the team. Like, they respond to him. And Coach, knows that he is not just the leader on the court, but the vocal leader. Yeah. And, again, the Knicks have needed that in forever.
Yeah.
And finally got it. Now you got to build around that. And RJ, I was telling him, RJ, man, I feel like RJ's regressed. I don't know if I watch enough Knicks basketball to say that he has definitively. But I feel like the jump we were expecting from him, he hasn't made that jump, and it's kind of disappointing.
He's had shining moments this year. He's had a 40-point game, a bunch of 30-point games. He's had a bunch of high 20, but then he's had these games where it's like 8, and he's 3 for 17 and 0 for 6 from 3, and those moments. Then he's got other games where the defense, when his shot's not going, now the defensive effort is down. And that can't happen.
Right.
The one thing that you can control is your effort on defense. You got to keep that up, especially when your shot's not falling. That's the best way that he can keep contributing to the team. And he's got to just lock in now, man. Come back from the break, get your mind right, get your head right, and get ready to go, man, because this is a playoff team now. The goalpost has moved a little bit, and his development is going to be sacrificed a little bit, but he's got to learn on the fly. Or else I fear that they're going to move on from him to see if they can get some more guys, some more win-now players in.
I was going to ask you that.
Fear.
Would you have, there was a rumor around the deadline about, with Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine,
I don't know exactly.
So they called them down to, the final hours. Ian Begley reported, they were on the phone with them down to the final hour.
Package?
I don't know who was in the deal. But I'm assuming that it's either RJ or Grimes, because if we bring in LaVine, then that's whose position he's taking. So
would you do both those guys for Zach? RJ
I know. I need one. I need to retain one of them.
Yo, LaVine is him.
Yo,
bro.
Since he's been in the conversation, he kind of been in his bag a little bit.
Yo, he scores so easily. It's so easy for him. It's so fluid. And I was thinking about it because I'm like, I heard Grimes was the killer, actually. I heard RJ was, obviously they're going to do the deal, but I heard what the Knicks didn't want to do was both of those guys, Grimes and RJ. Both. And I'm like, I get it, man, but y'all going to have to stop passing up on these Donovan Mitchell deals, B. You want a superstar player, you have to trade for one.
I still stand where I stand on the Donovan Mitchell deal. Would I want him? Yes. But look where both teams are. They're not far in front of – Cleveland's not far in front of the Knicks in the standings, and Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell literally have the same exact numbers right now. So I think Brunson actually averages more assists and a better field goal percentage, and over the last 30 games, they're averaging the same amount of points, 29. So, it was good for both teams. Cleveland had the assets to make that trade and absorb it and bring him in. The Knicks didn't have that. Like, yes, they could have built it out for years to come, but when you make it, I wanted them to make that deal if it meant this is the trade that's going to make us a championship contender. Right now, the Cleveland is in a 4 seed. In the second round, who is he even going to be the best player on the floor against? Is he the best player on the floor against Boston? Is he the best player on the floor against Milwaukee? Is he even the best player on the floor against Philadelphia?
No.
You need the best player on the floor to win, to get to the championship. And
Absolutely.
he wasn't going to be that. He was going to be the best player on the floor for us. He wasn't going to be the player that took us all the way to a championship. And for that, I say the Knicks, they stayed strong and made it a good thing. They made the best of what they had. They took Brunson, and he's been playing great. So let's just roll forward with that and try to build it out from there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Sean, you got anything else? You gonna stick around?
Ben Simmons stinks. I'll stick around. I don't know what y'all talking about. Don't ever.
Now, really, it was just we were gonna touch on some of the All-Star festivities.
Yes.
Just picking winners, nothing crazy.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any information handy, but we'll kind of kick it over to you. You let us know, and we can kind of go from there.
No doubt.
Cash, you have the participants.
For the 3-point contest, I have them. I'm looking for the dunk contest. But for the 3-point contest, again, I'll run through them. You got Jason Tatum, Kevin Huerter, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Dame Lillard, Anthony Simons, who's now injured. I don't know if he's going to play. And then Lauri Markkanen from the Jazz.
He got hurt last night?
He didn't play. Yeah, he didn't play last night, I don't think. That's why they lost by like 40. Even though Dame had 40.
My pick is Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero's going to win it.
You think Hero's going to win it?
Yeah. I think he's more of a spot-up shooter than probably all. I mean, and he shoots it like he's a smooth shooter. Like, he has a smooth form and follow-through. If I'm going to go off the deep end and pick somebody outside of the Dames and the guys, I'm going to pick Tyler Hero.
Gotcha.
Where you got Cash?
I'm taking Lauri Markkanen.
Okay.
I think he's playing in his own building. He's been shooting it great there. Look, it's warm-up shots. He's been knocking them down. I think he'll have the energy from the crowd, and I think it's gonna lead to him winning it. Lauri Markkanen. That's my guy. Keep it in Salt Lake.
You got to pick a black guy. We're just picking on.
Man, look, it's an unspoken thing to all hoopers. The white boys can shoot.
They definitely can shoot.
And we know. I don't care. I'm saying it.
Who you got, John?
So I got the theory in the 3-point contest that traditional jump shot shooters don't win. Just because I feel like they lose their legs. So that's why you see players who either don't jump that high or have like a very fluid motion, like a Steph Curry or Dame or somebody like that, Trae Young. I feel like they're the ones who are able to stay consistent throughout the rounds. So with that said, I've been bouncing it around. Either Buddy Hield or not repeats, but wins another one, or deep end Tyrese Halliburton. I'm gonna
that weird jumper.
He's a good shooter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Buddy Hield just because he's done it and he knows what to expect. But I wouldn't be surprised if Halliburton won.
I hate
this, especially he got.
It goes in. How does it go in?
You know, he's still mad about Wally Zerbiak, so I'm sure he's out there trying to prove
because he's a real all-star now.
Yeah, exactly.
He made Wally his Twitter Abby. That was real.
That was
I like it.
That was good stuff. All right, and the dunk contest. Who you got? I got Jericho Sims from the Knicks, Mac McClung, G League affiliate of the Sixers, Trey Murphy III from the Pelicans, and how old are we? Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
How old are we? We're talking about Desmond Mason and them from back in 2003. That was when Kenyon Martin was in the All-Star.
Yo, there's only 4 guys.
Only
four guys, yeah.
It's always
Shaedon Sharpe was in it. He pulled himself because he did not make they're speculating because he didn't make the Rising Stars game. So he pulled himself from the dunk contest and he wants to focus on the second half of the season.
And they're not going to
expect him
replace
to come
him?
on the second
I feel
half.
like there's always been more than 4 guys.
I feel like there's been some years where there's only 4 guys, but this is like, yeah. Last year I think they only had 4 guys.
Okay. I'm gonna go with McClung, man.
Yeah,
he can dunk. Yo, he's got
really
some bounce.
Yeah,
I've seen some of his like high school and college stuff. This dude coming down around under the legs, and he dunks it pretty easily. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with him in the Cinderella kind of story for the G League guys.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with him.
Okay.
Who you got, Cash?
I like it. Look, I'm going for one of the best cap dunk secrets in the league. If you see them fly in the game, you know Jericho Sims. This dude can get his neck over the rim.
Yeah, but is he? I know he's scary, athletic.
Creativity factor, right?
Yeah, can he get creative with it though?
So
he looks stiff. He looks like a stiff brother.
Yeah, I found this out today on Twitter. My man been working with a dunk coach.
Okay.
I didn't even know this existed.
I'm like, what?
Working with a dunk coach for like creativity, trying to find different dunks and stuff like that. Like we know he got the hops to accomplish any dunk. So I'm excited to see like what he tries to do out there. Even whether he makes it or not, I'm just excited to see what he can actually get up in the air and try to do. But Jericho says, man, I think he's gonna win it. But Mac McClung, I like that too, because the small guys, the judges usually, it always looks better when the small guys fly, man. So I do like that. Mac McClung's my sleeper pick.
And that's a big part of the reason why I picked Mac as well. He's 6'2". He's the shortest of the bunch. So whatever he does is just going to look like crazier because he's smaller. Yeah. And then I think the other part of it, I don't know if you guys saw, Mac did an interview recently, and he was like, basketball humbled me because you go back to high school, this dude was on every highlight tape. He was on every social media.
Virginia missed basketball, which is hard to be. Very hard to be.
He goes and plays in college, gets to the league very briefly, and now he's in the G League, kind of scrapping to get back into the league. So I think he's hungry. I think the fact that he is the first G League player in ever, there's a certain amount of pressure. Like I've got to perform. So I think he's going to go into his bag a little bit and put on a show. So I got Mac winning the dunk contest as well.
Love it.
Is this good for the league, bro? If he wins it, like, do we like? He's definitely gonna have to come back to to defend it. But is this good for like the future of the like? Does this mean now stars are definitely?
I think so.
Because they don't want to lose.
I think so, and
league guy.
I think so, and I'm gonna give you a point. Interesting point that I don't think you're gonna think about why. Because I think the league wants to say that we look at how many great basketball players we have. Like, we have dunkers in the G League that can compete with our highest level stars in our league in the association. So I think the league might look at this and say, as an opportunity to say, like, look at our product. We have so many great players that even our minor league guys are, performing at a high level.
But dunker
could be
being a dunker doesn't make you a great player. So
I know, but they're going to try to sell it like that. That's what I'm saying. They're going to try to sell it that way. That's what I'm saying. It's the league's highest level of dunker.
I don't think it's a great thing, but I mean, if he wins, I just think it's a slippery slope. If he wins, then it's going to be why should Ja be part of the dunk contest if we have professional dunkers outside of the league? So
true.
I was against Mac being in it, but it kind of is what it is. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
I'm still with it. I just want to see the best dunkers, man. Like, pull a random dude off of Venice Beach that's doing highlight dunks.
Because I've been seeing some wild dunks on the internet. If that's
on the internet, bro. Like, get all them dudes in there.
Let's just find those dudes right. Let's just find all the best dunkers.
Show me the best dunkers, yo. Dudes be doing like double under the legs and spin move behind the back. Like, all this, like, bring it to me.
But then, you know what it is? NBA players would never participate in it because you lose to a guy off the street. Oh, boy.
But why is that bad? Like you said, it's just because he can dunk don't mean he's a good basketball player. It's not like he beats you one-on-one.
They're NBA stars.
It's
ego, bro. Crazy.
brand. It's Nike. It's all that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the same thing as Tyreek going to play. Tyreek going to play, pickup football with some high school kid. The kid mosses him, and the internet's clowning him. And Tyreek's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
But you can't let a regular Joe violate you because it's just like it takes away from the mystique of who you're supposed to be. Like how you killing NFL guys, and this 16-year-old kid is catching it on top of your head.
You're supposed to be superhuman.
Right, that's why Cam Newton almost killed one of those high school. like, bro, you talking to me? Dude, like, you're not.
Yeah, Cam was like, huh? He said, "Where your daddy at? Where your daddy at, boy?"
Yo, the ego of a professional athlete is real, bro. You can't. It's very.
That's true.
So if Ja loses to Matt McClung in the dunk contest, we don't want to see those almost posters anymore.
I want those Ja ones
on those ESPN highlights.
Yep.
Like,
take these Ja ones back, man. I don't want these. You can't even beat Mac McClung in the dunk contest.
Right.
I'm supposed to jump in these.
Right.
I can't get up for these, Ma.
Facts. Like, come on, man. Come on. So,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. I think if Mac wins, it's gonna. I don't know.
Yeah. Cash, do you have the skills contest handy?
Yes.
Are you able to find it?
So the Antetokounmpos are back. They're going to be at the skills competition, as you know, are in threes. They're teams of threes. So the Antetokounmpos are back. Alex, Giannis, and Thanasis. Or no, Kostas not. Just Thanasis is going to be participating. So that's their team name. Then there's a Jazz contingency. Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. And then the Rooks. Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. I'm taking them.
Me too.
Like the rookies.
I got the Rooks.
Because those are some highly skilled rookies. I'm taking that rookie team. Who you got?
I like the Jazz guys.
You like the Jazz?
They're all
Clarkson,
like
Kessler, and
Sexton. They're mostly guards.
Yep.
They play with each other, so they have chemistry.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's gonna play. And again, they're home
because Colin Sexton is fast. But them rookies, man, this is a skills competition. These dudes trying to make a name for themselves. That's why I'm going for the rookie. Because you got to remember, they got to dribble like the length of the court back and stuff like that. Like, Jaden Ivey's going to be going 100 miles an hour. Like, they're going to try. They actually want to win. Jordan Clarkson, he's a veteran. Walker Kessler's a rookie. But Colin Sexton,
don't play on the Bulldogs' name like that. Don't play on the Bulldogs.
No, I'm not playing on him. I'm just saying, that is he gonna give the effort like
Colin Sexton only knows one way of playing basketball.
He's fast.
This is the man who stared at an opponent at the free throw line for like 3 minutes. What are we talking about?
That was crazy.
Colin Sexton is different. He's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
He's like the point guard KG.
He probably will go hard. And you know them until the Coupos.
And they're at home, too, bro. They're home.
That's true.
They want to win it at home.
That's true.
They ain't going to win much else at home. They want to win this at home. So I think they're going to go hard, bro. And Jordan Clarkson probably got girls watching, so he's going to be watching.
His life is so interesting.
Very interesting.
Understatement.
Very interesting.
But yeah, Sean, thanks for pulling up on us.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Sure.
We got All-Star Weekend this weekend, so Cash, I'm not going to ask you what your game to look forward to is, but yeah, we'll be back next week for the second half of the season, or the home stretch of the season. And Cash, Sean, you guys got anything to say before we get out of here?
LeBron James is going to get an All-Star MVP on Sunday. Book it.
He's going to play. See if he's nominated.
See, yo, Sean's going to be tight.
Like,
I did that on purpose.
Yo,
if he plays in this All-Star game, like what? He's gonna play? Nah. As of right now, he is gonna play though.
He's missed the last 3 games. I don't know if he's playing tonight. If LeBron's on that court,
he's questionable. But they said just before I turned this on, they said he's gonna play.
You've missed
and he's in the
last 3 games. The safe thing to do is just take the extra week. Yeah. I don't like, bro.
He's the league, bro. He can't not go. He has to go.
He can
go,
but
don't
play.
He's not gonna play long. They're just gonna. You gotta go in there, throw a long pass, get a block, catch a dunk, and then get out of there. Everybody bought the tickets to see him.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
It is true.
There's way too many guys in this All-Star. Like this, I mean, I know.
But they want to see LeBron. I guarantee if you polled 100 people that have All-Star game tickets, name 3 players that you want to see, LeBron will be on
They're
every
saying that because he's LeBron. He's LeBron James. He's the most popular.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not because his game is the best game or it's the most All-Star
game. They want to see
him.
They want to see LeBron. They don't care about what
I think most people would rather see Steph Curry in an All-Star game than LeBron.
You think?
Because Steph Curry's going to shoot from 40 feet. Like, he's going to do all that extra stuff. LeBron, like, again, like, it's not the prettiest game. Like, it's effective, but it's not.
Are we not entertained by LeBron anymore? Did I miss it?
We are. I'm just saying, bro. I need him to sit because he's hurt. And we need, like, I don't want to see LeBron in the All-Star game. I want to see LeBron the rest of the season as we try to make this push. That's what I mean.
He said, heard it all before.
And you know something's going to happen. Somebody going to step on him. He's always twisting his ankle anyway. He's going to twist his ankle, and then he'll miss another week or two, and then AD will be so sad. Like, AD looks like he don't want to play basketball without LeBron.
Yo,
I'm like,
shame on LeBron.
He looks like
shame on LeBron
does not want to play ball without. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Oh, God.
Shame on you, LeBron. You can't be getting injured.
With that said, guys, we'll tune in Sunday. LeBron better be sitting courtside with some wine, or else Sean's he's gonna have a conniption.
Sip on your Lobos. I don't care what you're doing. Sip on your Lobos. You know, have your little pinky out with the ring, LeBron. Put your imaginary crown on, but sit your behind down. We need you for this respect.
Aircast.
With that said, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you, Sean, for stopping in.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll see you again before the end of the season. My guy, Cash. Sorry about the Eagles, but we got something to look forward to with the Knicks down the stretch. And have a great rest of the week, everybody. Enjoy the All-Star festivities, and we'll be back next week.
YouTube Designated Report. Like, subscribe, all that.
I'll let it play with the steam in the street.
What do you know, Sean?
I know what I know. I don't know everything, but I do know what I know. That's all I can say, Black family.
Period.
My guy. All right.
All right, y'all.